My name is Michael Fegerl. I'm Austrian. I'm engineer and consultant for resource efficiency and cleaner production. I'm working as international expert for UNIDO, and in this case for a special project with the Nigerian government and the Manufacturer Association in Nigeria, dealing with the training and development of national experts in the field of sustainability, resource efficiency, cleaner production, to bring this understanding in the industry. What I realize is that this complex thinking of sustainability is not yet in the mind of the people here. So we try to open the mind, we try to make understanding what we learned in Europe, how important sustainability is as a major thinking and strategy in companies producing or giving services in the industry. I see a lot of motivation. I know it's possible. And the important thing is that the management in the industry is also understanding the importance of sustainability and giving the room to the people to deploy any ideas and options in the field of more sustainable and cleaner production. The other part is we need also a rethinking in the society that you are not using so many consuming goods that you are just use once and throw away. That's a long way of education and awareness. I know it from Europe, and I hope you will have a good way on this. I see that the participants are very motivated to learn about this. They see a lot of new approaches, which they start now to think how to do it in the companies. I see a lot of willingness to change things in their own companies, and I hope we can give them enough tools and ideas to do it in a very simple way that they can also motivate their own colleagues and the management. Take the information, go in the internet, have a look to other companies in other countries, and go on this road to clean up your business, to make it more sustainable, to integrate all in a really good management system that you can operate it and develop your company. UNIDO has a lot of tools and publications which are helpful for everyone who wants to develop the company, develop the country. What we try also to initiate is the establishment of a national cleaner production center in Nigeria, which could be the main hub to coordinate national experts, to bring companies together in the exchange of experiences and develop their own knowledge for Nigeria, which is very special. And what we can see in more than 70 other countries worldwide, this network of cleaner production centers gives a lot of knowledge to all kinds of companies, and I just can invite them to make use of it. We have set all the basics. We also have brought in some equipment for a cleaner production center to start with the supporting measurements for industries. They are trained. They can get all support they want to from the international side. So it's part of it's duty of the national experts and the national institutions to make it happen. For me it's interesting to see how industry is working in Nigeria, to compare what I've seen in different other countries and at home in my country, in Austria. I realize that the development here is about the same what we had in Austria a few years ago. So I feel familiar with it. I know that UNIDO can give additional support depending on the fundings which are available. They can also give a very special support to the Nigerian government to develop the framework. So we have a lot of tools and opportunities which can be used.
I'm Alf Hartzenberg. I'm a UNIDO International expert in energy management and financial sustainability development for energy management measures. This is my second time, really third time in Nigeria. The once was an online training event. I've been training in the area of energy management and energy systems optimization since 2010, since the IEE project in South Africa. Particularly with the emphasis and the focus on energy management systems, steam systems optimization, motor systems, fan systems, compressed air systems, amongst others. It's not only important for Nigeria, it's important for all countries. In fact, it was developed by the developed countries like Europe and America, largely because they were starting to see some of the dangers of overconsumption. But the lessons learned from them and the development of the material by them for developing countries, including Nigeria, has become very critical to enable us to sidestep the errors they made, the mistakes they made. And what is different about this and other types of theoretical and academic training is it includes both the fundamentals as well as the practical aspects of optimizing steam systems. It is not only about the theory. So it has been developed by practitioners in the field, people who have done work, field work for many, many years in many, many different sectors and many different companies. So it has been set up, the way the training has been formatted is to provide the candidates who sit through these sessions the ability to apply this very readily and very effectively in their plants shortly after the training workshops. And in many ways, this training is a kind of a bridge and a gap. It fills a gap between the degreed student, the postgrad student who had studied engineering, and the technician in the factory who fixes and repairs and maintains energy systems, but really don't understand why what is done worked or doesn't work. So what this training does is to actually impart a practical knowledge to the postgraduate engineer, but also to share some of the fundamentals with the in-plant technician who can now understand and better appreciate the reasons for successes or failures in terms of his optimization measures in the plant. A lot of the work and a lot of the training that has preceded this has been about how you design an energy system so that it meets the requirements of the system or the process. A lot of the work that's been done has been taught about how we preserve the integrity, the safety, and the reliability of equipment and machines. What this training seeks to do is to integrate into that thinking the element of energy management system. So quite simply put, we don't teach them how to operate a steam boiler. We teach them how to operate a steam boiler in an energy efficient manner. And that is the big difference. Because it's practical and because it's born out of real experiences in the field. It's born out of having worked in industrial plants, having applied it, having evaluated it, having seen the results, having seen the successes. And then because a lot of the content in this training is premised on that, it is the kind of methodology and guidance that we give to candidates that attend this training to apply this, because it's been done with that approach and that methodology in mind. Oh, there are many barriers. There are barriers with those in the plant that don't understand energy. There are barriers with procurement and financial people who still believe that the only way you determine which computer, which compressor, which pump you buy is purely by the first cost. and they do not consider or do not know or do not understand the value of life cycle costing. There are barriers against people who have done it the wrong way for years. There are barriers against this unwillingness to change, and it's a natural instinct. We are comfortable with the way we've done things, and we are now showing industry, engineers, plant personnel, a different way of doing it. So those barriers can only be overcome by proof of concept. We need to prove to leadership and management and owners that we can achieve savings with very little cost. We have to prove to them that our approach does indeed unlock savings in terms of a systems approach. Because up until this point, the world, including the developed world, looked at optimizing energy or energy efficiency as a component approach. They would look at the motor, the pump, the fan, the boiler. What we kind of preach, what we teach is the adoption of a systems approach. And in the systems approach, you include not only the generation of the energy source, be that compressed air, steam, fluid power, but it's also the distribution, the end use, and the recovery of some of the heat or recovery of the condensating steam systems and reusing that again. And that systems approach that has proven very successful in unlocking great savings. And our experience has shown that where we focus on a component, i.e. just a motor, we could achieve savings of between 1 and 4%. Where we focus on a motor system, we can unlock savings of between 5 and 20%, significantly higher. What I would suggest is that we need, and MAN and maybe Nigeria, UNIDO should address an awareness campaign at the leadership within companies. We should make that leadership teams and the owners of industrial plants understand what the engineers are being trained to do, understand what the engineers are trying to do in saving energy. Because we need the top management commitment to make this work. And once we have that support from top management, we will clearly start to see some of the really great benefits unfold. And I've seen that in practice. It's not a theoretical wish list and desire. It has worked. It has worked in countries. I have done energy management system training. We've seen it happen in South Africa. We've seen it happen in Sri Lanka. We've seen it happen in Morocco. We've seen it happen in Mauritius. We've seen it happen in all the countries where we've done this training. Where top management comes on board and supports this initiative, really great savings can be achieved. In terms of those who just don't believe it because they've done it the wrong way their whole lives, it's education. And we must understand we can't come and force this newfound way of optimization on them. We need to educate them. And the challenge to MAN and the challenge to Nigeria is don't only focus on your engineers, have a look at your next level of semi-skilled technicians in your plant, operators in your plant, and skill them as well. Bring them on board. This can't be a crusade of just the mechanical or plant or utility engineer. One of my big initiatives is showing organizations, first of all, that they can save money without spending money. So we want to grab and we want to pick what we call the lower-hanging fruit. We want to make sure that to build credibility for what we do, we want to show savings without spending any capex. We want to show savings using the OpEx budget, i.e. the maintenance budget. And only when we've proven credibility to then present capex programs and budgets to the FD or the MD or the senior leadership in the company to consider. But they won't do that unless we've developed some credibility. The other option we often and seldom are able to do is to quantify savings. A lot of projects I see that go unappreciated is because the engineer or the practitioner that implemented that project was unable to accurately determine the savings. So nobody really knew what the benefit was. How can you expect me to fund another project when I don't know what the benefits of the previous project was? So there's a need to teach engineers the ability to conduct a financial analysis and to determine savings more accurately. And when we can do those two things, we can then develop what I call as proof of concept. We can show management what the cost, what the potential savings is, quite accurately, but more than that, we can show them what the cost of doing nothing is. If you're doing nothing about something, you will continue to waste energy, and we will show you that cost. And we present this as a cost abatement curve in many cases. The opportunity cost, or the lost opportunity cost, is another way of saying it and doing it, where we present to FDs and leadership within companies the opportunity to implement the measure and the cost of doing nothing. And that invariably unlocks an opportunity. We can show that our savings, despite the interest and inflation over the lifespan of that system or that machinery, is greater or less than what they would have paid the bank in interest, then it clearly becomes a no-brainer. And that is really what engineers and project managers need to understand. I am encouraged in this workshop because I see a lot of old faces. I'm encouraged in this workshop that by the response and by the comments shared by the candidates, that there has been a movement. They have not sat still and done nothing. There's been a very encouraging movement towards applying what was taught in the first two missions. So that is hugely encouraging. I just wish that over time, Nigeria, through either UNIDO, or particularly UNIDO in Nigeria, sees the value of running some really deep expert programs to develop really, really good national experts in the individual energy systems like motors, electric motors, fans, pumps, compressors, steam systems, refrigeration and cooling systems. So that the legacy of this program is manifested by the fact that we now have Nigerians training Nigerians.
Okay, I'm Solomon Makonjola. I'm the manager in charge of packaging and sustainability for Promasido Nigeria Limited. This will be my third class. The first class held, I think, sometimes last year, and then that's the introduction to IEE and RECP methodology, and we had a second class in May that has to do with business strategy, with respect to IEE and RECP. And today we are in the third class, which is the intermediate and advanced class. We have been learning since yesterday. Yes, I would say it's a knowledge field session. Yesterday we had the RECP methodology and then cleaner production, and then the frameworks that we learned is something that one could use in your organization, and it applies to different organizations that you can use to eliminate or reduce waste. Like the facilitator said yesterday, he mentioned that when you talk about the cleaner production, it's a reverse way of thinking. So it's not about, yes, I've produced waste and then I want to now reduce it. It's about preventing waste from the source. So that's one of the key lessons, and we learn different ways of doing that. And today it's been another round of technical session with a focus on industrial energy efficiency, and then we've been able to see what are, for example, in the first class we talk about significant energy uses, and today, if I link that first class to this third class, we have been able to see what are some of those equipments or devices that that contribute to significant energy uses in our factory. One of them, is talk about the motors, and we've talked a lot about motors, and then we are now, I think the start at this class starting has to do with steam consumption, and we've also been thought about how we can optimize these systems. Yes, I would say it's very relevant because the way the world is thinking now, thinking with respect to sustainability, and like the instructor mentioned yesterday, and which is also hot there, when it comes to sustainability, it's about the environment, it's about the social aspect, and it's also about the governance aspect. And therefore, for any organization that wants to survive, you need to build in sustainability thinking into the way. Let me say, you have to build in sustainability thinking into your strategy, and then so by the time you build it in, for you as an organization, it makes you a better organization. One of the things is that your impact on the environment in terms of the adverse impact is reduced. So you're able to generate lower carbon emission or lower greenhouse gas emission. Aside that, also there's the benefit of improved productivity, because by the time you're able to eliminate waste and improve efficiency of usage, there's improved productivity. You have reduced risk of reduced reputational risk, and also you could increase your bottom line, because if you cut wastage, then you're improving your bottom line. So it's very, very insightful and applicable. Well, I would say the training, one thing is that, it's not just a single participant from the organizations. We've had at least four participants each from different organizations. And then, so it brings about an interdisciplinary approach, because when you come together to solve this issue, it doesn't just rest with a single department. And so the opportunity to bring people from different fields to come and listen to this will help in implementing some of the ideas that has been learned. I think that's one of the things that stood out. Also, the combination of facilitators, both people are local experts here and also foreign experts. So it's also something that stands out. So there is an exchange of ideas, and then both what is applicable in a local, what is applicable to us locally, what is happening outside there, and then you could come out with hybrid ideas that is good for your organization.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Now, what are the insights you have learned in this particular technical training?
Okay, I've learned about energy optimization, energy audit, reduction of waste and recycling of waste. So, electric motor optimization. This training, we have learned about energy optimization, resource efficient cleaner practice, recycling of waste and reduction of waste, different types of electric motor system, steam optimization system. The GEF-UNIDO, they are coming to our company for factory tour, and so when they come, the important point that they pick, we will implement it in our company. And also the ISO 5001 and 14001 we learned in the training, we also implement that, as well as energy management system too. The most exciting thing I learned was actually in today's training, where we talked about the electric motor system, the soft starter, variable speed drive, the differences and how it is being implemented and the applications.
My name is Jimo Sharafa Adelaja. I work with Nigeria Foundries Limited, OTA, as a group maintenance manager. It's been a wonderful experience, and one thing which I always tell people is this: no information is a waste. And talking about energy efficiency is something that has come a long way, and for any company to remain profitable out there, energy efficiency actually should be one of the tools to be taken to look at critically. And when you talk about wastage reductions and how to remain competitive out there, energy wastage is one of the major things that has to be looked into critically. The company I work for, actually, we've introduced some level of energy management system. And with what I've learned so far today and yesterday, for us to go back and look at our system once again and to see, is there any area that we're still having a shortfall, and see how far we can improve. Basically, electric motor optimization is one area that we need to look at critically, because for any industry out there, obviously, electric motor is one of the major drives that is used. So how we can improve the efficiency is one of the major things that we need to look at. The major barrier which has to do with the cost. But when you talk about energy optimization, definitely we need to introduce new equipment, and the cost is one of the things that I think that is a major barrier here. And another thing again is this: the cost may be a major barrier, but there are basic things that we also need to look at, which will not really be capital intensive. Things like common awareness, situation of lighting points in a situation whereby it's not in use, machines that are not in use definitely has to be switched off. These are common ways to reduce energy wastage as well. Well, the support will be in terms of grants and loans at a reduced interest. These are the major areas that I think that, well, my advice, technically speaking, when we talk about resources, what goes into productions, talk about energy, manpower, we can try as much as possible to reduce wastage by ensuring that, one, the energy efficiency is improved. If energy efficiency is improved, the wastage is reduced without necessarily looking at the manpower reduction. There are better ways to increase energy efficiencies. If all these are taken into consideration, I think we can go a long way to help us remain optimal out there.
Thank you, sir. And what's the most impressed aspect of the training? What impressed you most?
Well, the caliber of the instructors, the trainers, these are world-class trainers, and the level of information shared. I think this actually the major things that I
one
think.
sentence, how you describe the importance of the GEF-UNIDO projects in Nigerian industry, to Nigerian industry?
Save energy, save life.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.